I wish I could tell you what is going on. I can just tell you that we're not being told what is going on. That's the only thing that we know, is that we don't know anything right now about the drones. It's very odd. If this had happened 20 years ago, do you guys think that the reaction from the public would be different? There's floating devices in the air. Nobody knows where they came from. The government has no idea what they're doing or why they're here. Don't you think that that would stop everybody's day-to-day activities? We're just all going on like life is normal, and nobody's like, hey, it's weird that nobody knows what these things are.
Only because we didn't all know what drones were 20 years ago. I made the joke last time we talked about aliens that anything is a UFO if you're bad at identifying flying objects. So when people didn't know,
they've actually said that is exactly what this is that people are actually, they're bad at identifying flying objects.
Well,
that's the government's official narrative, is that, oh, you didn't think you saw. What you actually saw were planes.
Well, okay, in fairness, some of the sightings have been actually people recording planes. Other have been people looking up at the sky and realizing in the wintertime you have like a halo around the moon sometimes. Yeah. But there's bona fide drones out there, and they're not saying it's all missed sightings. They're just saying we don't know what it is, but I've actually just realized. It's Amazon porn delivery drones at night. That's why they do it at night, so that they don't embarrass the recipients.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's a good point. But you know what? And Rob, to answer your question, the fact that Alejandro Mayorkas and the Pentagon leaders and everybody goes, we don't know, it's okay, be careful, makes me say, unequivocally, they're all lying and they all know exactly what's going on. The real question is, what are they setting us up for? Every time something like this happens, guys, every single time, do yourself a favor, stop and look around and see everything that's happening, okay? And besides the Diddy list and the pardons and all the stuff, it's Trump. My mentality is this, and I know, Rob, you're about to play something about him. He should be worried that there's stuff flying around that they're acting like they don't know. And I have my point of view of what this could be and what it could lead to. But, Rob, I'll let you go ahead with your...
Well, you said that the government won't tell us what they are. They're claiming that they don't know what they are, but they do know what they are. Donald Trump is the only government official, president-elect, who is out there saying the government actually knows what they are, where they're coming from. They can track this down to the garage that they fly out of if it's somebody's home. Here's Donald Trump earlier this week talking about the government's knowledge about the drones over New Jersey.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey?
Look at that face, bro.
It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been?
Do you have any reason to think they're a threat?
He just said that he thinks they're a threat because he's not going to go anywhere near Bedminster.
Dude, great point. And guys, did you see him? He scoffed off. Guys, the guy was the commander-in-chief, and he's about to be again. He knows how you know that when he says they know what garage they came out of, he knows our intelligence capability. He's not stupid.
When you mention, you're connecting all these dots, and they tried to blame or at least make an Iran connection with the assassination on Trump, the first assassination attempt on Trump.
Yes.
They then brought up the plot to kill the President Trump.
Yes. From
Iran that had pre-existed what happened in Butler. I've conveyed this to the whatever access I have to whatever team of Trump. I think that they are conditioning people to become desensitized to the risk that drones flying overhead actually pose, their inability to take them down. Because after the second attempt on Trump's life with the guy in the bushes, and I think it was Bongino saying, look, the reality is a sniper is a risk. The bigger risk is not controlling the airspace. Drones come in, you see how they can control explosive devices. They have no meaningful protection for a drone attack on the property, but they do on the president. And I think they're sensitizing people to the fact that the government's so incompetent, they can't stop a drone attack so that they could possibly have a version 3.0 of the first 2 failed attempts via drone over Mar-a-Lago on Trump.
Yeah, and these aren't regular drones as well, though. And that was the really terrifying thing. You're hearing reports that these things are the size of like small SUVs. I didn't even know that something like that big that didn't have like airplane technology was capable of taking flight.
Yeah.
Like that's scary.
And they're saying that it's FAA approved. Like they're like, and then Rob, you're gonna show this guy, John Kirby, my favorite.
Yeah, I have a few clips. John Kirby. I also have Alejandro Mayorkas, and then we have a clip of something that was odd that was filmed by the WABC News crew out of New York. But let's go to John Kirby. This goes back to what Connor said earlier, that sometimes people are misidentifying things. That's the actual government. So quickly, before we play the video, everybody here is in agreement. It's not aliens, right?
Of course.
Nobody here thinks it's extraterrestrials.
I 100% don't believe it's aliens. I believe it's something that they're going to use to say, God forbid something happens to Trump, they're going to go, well, what do you know? It was Iran, because we heard the story of the mothership
off of the East
of
Coast.
Iran. But then blow it up and then go attack Iran. What are we talking about?
It is so outlandishly preposterous that they can't take down a drone. They can you get a leather strap on a hawk and they will tie up the blades. Amy, I don't happen to think that they're as big as people think they are. I think people are exaggerating the size. You can get a drone that's about the size of the hood of a car with the wingspan. I don't think they're the size of SUVs, but they're there and they're drones and they can be taken down.
Man-made.
Also,
I mean, this is from reports online, but also anecdotal because I'm not. Were you there, Connor? Tony got a call. Tony the Booker from somebody who is, a big fan of the show and well connected, who literally explained from Virginia firsthand seeing one of these things, and he described it from his firsthand account as the size of a small SUV.
Well,
so I mean, it's things people are saying, also things we've heard firsthand. From
it is
people
really
as
hard
well.
to gauge how big an object is in the sky if there's nothing next to it to provide scale.
Yes,
But they do get huge, and the way we know they're not aliens is because when have UFOs ever had FAA compliant safety lights on them?
But
there's a
the
reason-
Iranian drones and made in China, when they're going to do their covert
they're
ops,
not covert either.
keep the red and green lights
So
on.
there is a reason they have those, and that's because they are domestic drones, whether that's military, civilian, whatever. But clearly they're up there. So for them to be like, oh, you're actually not, you idiots just don't know what a plane is.
Well, these are the
that's
same
the most
people-
insulting
The
explanation.
same people that got up and told you, no, Joe Biden's totally there. That's still the president of the United States who cannot formulate a sentence. His brain is mush now. The only reason he exists currently and the only reason we talk about him isn't because he's out giving speeches. It's because he's giving away pardons. The most that any president has ever given out, he has done so far, if I'm not mistaken. There's a chart that
Adjudicated,
shows where there's like, oh, look at all these pardons. And then Joe Biden.
And ironically, mostly Democratic presidents as well are the ones who have statistically given out the most.
These are the same people that
pardons.
told you that Donald Trump was going to abuse the pardon system. This is in 2019 or 20, as after the election. He's going to abuse the pardon system to pardon his own family. That's the same people that told you he was going to do that. Then they go and do it themselves. They're the same dildos that are sitting here telling you, no, there's nothing in the sky. You're imagining them. Here's John Kirby. What did you call him? Garbage, piece of shit,
Trash. I hate him.
trader.
He's among the worst people.
of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Well, Alejandro Mayorkas, and you have another.
good. We have him as well.
Go, yeah.
Speaking of worthless government drones,
Here, let's play a useless government drone. This is John Kirby. I believe he is the communications director for the White House. I believe Karine Jean-Pierre reports to him, right? Because if he's the communications director, I would think that press secretary would fall
she has
underneath
to be.
that, right?
Yeah.
So this is the guy that oversees the nudnik that gets on the news and gives you word salads and then lies to you on your own. We're funding these people to lie to us. Our tax dollars go to their salaries year after year and their defense budgets, and then. And for what? They can't tell us what's flying in the air in New Jersey. They can't give us any answers. And when they do give us answers, they lie to our faces and we go, oh, okay, we're going to give you more money. Here's a raise for 2025. Here's John Kirby.
We have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, There are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace.
Why does every jerk off like Mark Cuban and this guy wear those dumbass
I hate those glasses,
At least
bro.
you have like the thin frames.
He's
Yours
chilling.
not. Your glasses aren't as pompous as John Kirby's.
Yeah, they're just disgusting.
I left my
notice
pompous frames at home.
You notice, like in the beginning, the first part of what he said is like, we haven't confirmed anything because they're not looking into confirming it. All that they're looking into is throwing reasonable doubt. Oh, some have been missed sightings of actual planes. Yeah. I don't know who the Republican guy was that said they're coming off a mothership off the East Coast. And
Yeah, he said he heard people because he's an FAA board and he's on the transportation
Are
board.
you talking about the congressman from New Jersey, Jeff Andrew?
I believe
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
who
it's
it
him.
is.
But for Kirby to suggest that there haven't been bona fide sightings of unexplained drones, and many of them, it's as stupid as telling you that Joe Biden is not senile.
Yeah.
It's that.
And here,
implausible.
and how about this? This is I mean, call me crazy because I'm going to think about this. How about do a Jersey statewide? Hey guys, we as of this time, we want everybody to ground your drones. Everybody. We want to find out if somebody's doing this, if they're not taking the orders. How about ground every drone? We're giving a lawful order. We want the skies cleared because here's Rob. I want to ask you.
See, the problem is when we allow them to do things like that, then they use that to then further push agendas down the road.
Oh, Chuck Schumer is currently talking about a bill that conveniently happened to be pending a vote in the Senate about restrictions on privately owned drones. And it's like, wow, what are the odds?
When we get to
that they'd have
Alejandro
that?
Mayorkas, he says the same thing. So, like, there's that portion where I'm like, yes, for the safety of getting answers for the people in New Jersey right now, yes, make that a mandate. But the problem is they make that mandate. What's to stop them from making another mandate? What's in the that's what they did with COVID. At first, it was 14 days to flatten the curve, 6 feet of distance. Oh, you can self-isolate. We can't be in crowded areas. Oh, here's an experimental medicine that'll help. Oh, you don't want to take the experimental medicine? Take the experimental medicine. Oh, you don't want to do that? Lose your job. Oh, you don't want to do that? You can't go in public.
Yeah.
So every time we give the government an inch, they don't take a mile, they take 7.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, you know what? I don't really give a shit that much to allow the government to then create a rule that'll put everybody's drones on
But see, I don't believe when he's saying they're not flying over restricted airspace. That's bullshit. You can't
Agreed.
fly over. You can't fly over where the president, like Bedminster's, where he sleeps there.
Didn't they get close to LaGuardia?
They got close to
They
LaGuardia
had to
too.
land
It's
a couple
foolish, dude.
planes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, guys, just for us, ground yours. We want to see all the civilian ones. Just ground them because we want to see if this is from somebody else. Because they're not giving us the answer.
There's two realities to this. First of all, unless the laws in New Jersey are radically different than other states in Canada, you're not allowed flying your drone over populated areas in any event without permission. You're not allowed flying it within a certain distance of people who are not related
You
to
need
the production.
permits and stuff, don't you?
Permits, or you just need to fly it safely. And some of the rules are you can't fly within a certain distance of buildings that you don't own. Period. So it's already, I'm very certain, against drone laws, whatever they exist on a state basis. That they pretend they can't take them down with non-lethal force is absurd. You had one journalist saying, well, if they take them down and they're gas powered, they might explode when they land. That's so not the concern, because if they're flying them in any event, drones always go down. They hit a bird, they hit a tree, they crash. The fact that they can't take them down, or they say they can't, is absurd. They don't want to take them down because it would reveal exactly who owns them. I'm just surprised some vigilante citizen has not gone and, in a non-lethal manner, taken down some of these drones.
especially Jersey. You would think that some like Rob's cousins or somebody doing it.
My
because,
brother, you should see the gun safe that guy has.
Yeah.
You don't take out a shotgun and go, all right, let's go aim at these.
Why do you think they're not doing it in Florida?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
that's
let me
the
ask you a
first thing
question.
that they're
Okay,
doing.
let's just say it is them. They know exactly what the hell is going on. What could it be? What are they keeping from us? What are they trying to do?
It goes back to what Connor said. It's odd that this conveniently happens when there's a bill pending regarding drones and regulations. I want to go back to real quick what you said about shooting them down. Do you remember the Chinese spy balloon? Remember that flew across the entire United States, and they said that they finally shot it down over the ocean because it no longer posed a threat to citizens of the United States. Here's John Kirby on Fox News where he talks about that they can't shoot the drones down over the ocean because it would be a threat to citizen safety. But it wasn't a threat to citizen safety when you shot down the Chinese spy balloons. Make that make sense for me. Here's John Kirby on Fox News earlier this week.
One, person who watched this online said they think it's Pterodynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. You know, they're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company. They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected? You know, is this a private company that is practicing something? And wouldn't they have to clear something with somebody to have this kind of activity?
It could very well be, as I said, these could be commercially developed drones of some kind.
Why not just take one down and figure out what's going on?
Look at them.
Well, okay, the idea of taking something down, again, you want to worry about public safety. We don't have enough conclusions to take that kind of a policy
He's such
action.
a professional
but let's just
bullshit
assume for a
artist.
minute, Martha, that we did. I mean, you're not going to want to shoot something down where it could hit somebody's house or
Oh,
hurt
no,
somebody.
God forbid.
Yeah,
It's flying over the
following
sky.
one of their ships in the ocean. So would that work?
I mean, again, we
Yeah,
have
they're
to
following
develop
ships.
the policy options based on what we know we're
Bullshit.
dealing with
Look
here.
at her.
And we just don't know enough
Look at her, look
to
at her
make
shaking
those
her-
kinds of to take
Wow.
those kinds of actions. But
can't
my
believe
goodness,
it.
we're going to do everything we can to find out, and we're going to share
Look
as
at
much
him.
as we can.
Do everything we can. It's only
Such
been a
a
month.
bullshit artist, bro.
But
yeah,
again,
exactly.
So it's safe to shoot the Chinese spy balloon down after it's completed its mission once it's over the waters of the Atlantic Ocean, but we can't do the same thing for these unknown drones. Here's a weird footage.
Or the orb?
Yeah, so this came out, and then, like, it's really weird that this came out, and these people film these things in planes a lot. You'll see people take it, but you never see, like, a news station actually capturing the video and then doing a report on it. This is the ABC7 WABC news crew out of New York, and they happen to be out shooting footage in New Jersey looking for drones, and they ended up capturing this. If we could play this real quick.
I'm going to predict this is a weather balloon.
And Bill and Sandra, you know, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is.
Not
if it's
pixelation,
a
but
natural
distortion.
phenomenon,
They're going to
because
zoom
it could
out,
be.
and that's
But
going to be a weather balloon or
This is why so
something.
many municipalities are now asking people to reach out
believe
and
it
send their
turns into a
videos
drone if it's
to
the same
them
one
or
I
to
saw.
experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, we're live here in Mendham Borough. Tony Yates, Channel 7
I was in
Eyewitness News.
California, and we saw an orb just like that in the sky, and it was moving very slowly. It was clearly not a star. It was clearly not a plane, and I'm just fairly convinced it was a weather balloon, that it was moving very slowly, drifting with the wind.
Yeah.
Okay, I would accept that because that's more of an answer than the government has given us. I got it from Viva Frei and not from the United States government, of which my tax dollars go to.
The balloon, when they didn't take it down, they said, we're not going to take it down over a populated area because it might contain gas or sarin or whatever. Over the ocean is safer. These drones, they make it sound like you need an F-15 to take down a drone. You need literally one of those shirt guns at a concert that shoots a mesh out. Nobody like, you need that shoots a mesh, that shoots a net.
And it hits
you,
the propeller
You could take
on it.
another drone, drag a bunch of like string, and just tangle it up in the props of these drones. It's such a preposterous claim that you can't take them down or you need a jet to take them down. You need someone with a little bit of creativity and ingenuity. And the reason why the government's not
the
taking
federal government.
No, they're not taking them down because they're theirs. Period. That's why.
So what do you guys think about giving any credence to the Project Bluebeam claims that a lot of people are making? Because especially when you see something like that, I saw similar footage on X, and it can be hard to discern with everyone posting about this what's true and what's not. I saw something very similar to that, but it actually transformed into a drone after the fact, which seems to give credence to this theory that they could be holograms, and this could all be one big scheme and, you know, one big contrived situation to pose a fake alien invasion. And under those circumstances, they could do just about anything. They could stop the inauguration from occurring under those type of circumstances because it would be unprecedented.
That's
right?
That's one step too far for me.
I believe Project Bluebeam is a thing that they will attempt at some point, create an alien threat in order to, you know, enact some sort of global agenda. I just think whenever they're going to do it, they're going to use it for something more useful than freaking out a bunch of people in New Jersey. Because you don't need your UFOs to look like human-made drones to then fake an alien attack.
Right.
Because...
But maybe it's a way for them to test the technology, right? Because that's one way for them to test it with something that looks, it's still irregular.
We already have the things that, if you believe Operation Bluebeam is underway, where many of the UAPs that people have identified over the years are actually just fake, either real technology, holograms, whatever. They've made things that look like they're from other planets.
Right.
They don't need them to look like drones.
And not just
I'm
that,
just playing
you
devil's
don't even
advocate
need
too.
the drones to do it. Just put out an AI video that looks impeccably real. People don't need to actually see the drones over the skies. In terms of assumptions, Project Bluebeam also was like faking an alien invasion to create some sort of like religious unification. But no, they look a one step less in terms of assumptions. Drones have specific capabilities now. They can sniff out radiological material. They can surveil at night. And given what I know is coming in terms of the open border and Alejandro Mayorkas admitting that look, you just need a briefcase of dirty radiological material to come either through Canada, more likely than through Mexico, come in here, and these people are effed because they have no tracking of any of the illegals that they've been letting in for the last 4 years.
I went and looked up who came up with the idea of Project Bluebeam.
A French-Canadian guy.
Serge Monsat.
No, that's Monin. Serge Monin. Serge Monin.
So, oddly enough, guy's no longer with us. He died at a relatively young age. Would you say
51 heart attack?
Heart attack. 51. The
weird.
guy that comes up with this idea of Project Bluebeam, his heart ends up exploding in his chest.
That's such a weird phenomenon. I've never heard that before.
That seems to happen. Let's go to Alejandro Mayorkas, the what is he? The
second biggest piece of shit on earth.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's
Who's the first?
There's a tie for a bunch of the first ones.
He's probably the worst of the worst, and the fact that he always has this like horrible smirk. If you want to really hate this guy, YouTube Alejandro Mayorkas and who's Ted Cruz and him going. He doesn't answer any questions. But go ahead, Rob.
Do you know where Alejandro Mayorkas is from?
He's from Cuba. I want to say, but he's Jewish. If you didn't know that.
Yeah, he's Jewish.
But I had no idea that the guy that's in charge of immigration is an immigrant himself. So
but
for me, it's like, I hate to be that guy. Does he really care as much about this country as someone like myself who's born and raised here?
No.
Someone like yourself, born and raised and fought for this country? No offense to you. I know you're from Canada. But if you had your choice of which you could defend, we're in a boat and you can only save one. It's United States or Canada. Which are you saving?
I know exactly which one. I just don't want to get canceled in Canada yet. By the way, the thing about him being Jewish, I'm not throwing that out there for nothing. That's what I believe he said in one of the congressional hearings where he said, "How dare you accuse me of dereliction of duty at the border?
My grandmother was a Holocaust survivor."
I was like, A, non sequitur. B, you don't get to hide your dereliction of duty because you're Jewish. And C, it means you should respect borders a little bit more and not derelict them.
That's like me showing up late for a podcast and going, "Sorry, Pat, my grandfather was an alcoholic." Like, it doesn't tie in to why I'm doing a shitty job that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Here, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and to answer your question about, well, he's an immigrant himself, like, the proof is in the pudding. He's an immigrant, right? The border has been wide open for 4 years, and he doesn't have to answer one question, and our tax dollars are going to protect this freaking, dude, I don't want to say it. Your money from your pockets are gonna protect him for the rest of his life, just like Fauci, because he's the one. If something happens in the United States, okay, he's the one that you're gonna want to look to. That guy, all the terrorists that are here, over 1,000 Al Qaeda facts are here. They're ready to go. They are waiting. Embassies, mark my words. Embassies around the world are gonna start getting attacked. There was a girl that was on Sean Ryan. She was in the intelligence community, and she's like, "Oh, wait till you see this Al Qaeda. They're gonna get the okay to go. It's going to happen."
You said something earlier before the podcast about a rubber band.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah.
I have the same sentiments. I feel the same exact way.
Don't you feel, and I want the audience to know, put in the chat, don't you just feel Trump won, and I don't want people to just think like these guys, the Democrats, are going to just ride off into the sunset. I feel like right now a rubber band is getting to that point where just a little touch and it's going to pop. I feel it in here. I'm not trying to scare people. I feel like something, dude, like this happened before 9/11 because I was on the Air Force shooting team and everybody was talking. Everybody knew something was going to happen. Just like Condoleezza Rice when she warned her mayor from Chicago, don't fly to New York today. She's a psychic apparently. But something feels like something is about to pop. And I feel it. I don't know if it's going to happen before the inauguration, at the inauguration, Christmas time. Something's brewing. I feel it. I think these drones have a part to do with it, but it's an uneasy feeling, and I don't like it. I was at LAX at the baggage claim a couple days ago, and I got this weird like rush, and I'm looking around. I'm like, we've gotten comfortable. You notice that since the COVID pandemic, We're just like, yeah, oh yeah, another Omicron, another virus. We're getting too comfortable for these people, and Trump is coming in. He's making all these appointments. Heads are gonna roll. He's gonna have vindication, and he's gonna hold people accountable. I wouldn't be surprised if something happens before or on Inauguration Day to stop this guy from taking over.
I want to get back to the clip real quick of Alejandro Mayorkas, because this goes to what Connor was saying earlier about there being some type of, is it a bill, a law? A bill.
I believe it's some sort of bill proposal that it exists within one of those larger bills, just a provision tacked onto something else. Why is there legislation pending on banning or heavily regulating personal drone use? Just happened to sit in Congress right now when we have this whole thing kick off.
So
timing does not make sense to me.
Before we play that clip, to what Viva said, there was missing radioactive material in New Jersey. We don't need to play the clip, Natalia. I know that's the last
Allegedly.
clip. Well, this is coming from the New York Post. December 2nd, a piece of
came in and
yeah.
it was
We can
empty.
skip this, Natalia, and just go to the bald guy. We'll finish with him. I had the video of the mayor, Bellevue, New Jersey Mayor Michael Melham. He was on Fox News where he talks about the missing radioactive material, but this is from the New York Post. December 2nd, a piece of medical equipment containing a small amount of radioactive material went missing during transit in New Jersey. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Committee reported that the device used for cancer scans was being shipped from a cancer center in Newfield, Gloucester County for proper disposal. However, when the shipping container was found, it was discovered damaged and empty. Inside was a missing item known as a pin source. It contains a tiny amount of germanium-68, a radioactive isotope utilized in PET scanners for calibration purposes. According to the internet, germanium-68 is not typically associated with the creation of biological weapons, but there is reports of radioactive material going missing. If these drones are sniffer drones, they could possibly be looking for that.
Well, and then the steel man to that is that the sighting started in late November, so they're not necessarily correlated to that, which went missing in December. People were saying, why New Jersey? It's a big port area. There's a bunch of military bases out there. It's strategically important, but there have been sightings elsewhere across America.
McGuire, my sister was stationed there, McGuire Air Force Base.
Let's finish with this clip of Alejandro Mayorkas. This goes back to, again, what Connor was saying about government overreach. Rahm Emanuel was the one that said it during the 2008 housing crisis. He said, never let a crisis go to waste. Regardless of the outcome of this, be prepared for government overreach. That is, we may not know where these are from, but there may be more questions than we have answers today. But the one answer that you can have that what's going to result from this isn't any type of actual answers. It'll be more funding for the Defense Department, and it'll be more regulations regarding drones and unmanned devices being flown into the air. They'll find a way to use this as an opportunity to crack down on your freedoms like they do with everything. 9/11, COVID-19, and now the mysterious drones are no different. And here's Alejandro Mayorkas telling you that on, I don't know if this is CNN. Here it is.
Not as though anyone can just take down a drone in the sky. That
bullshit
in and of itself would be dangerous.
Do you have the authority to shoot down drones?
Our authorities are very limited. That is precisely why we have gone to Congress to expand those authorities. Our authorities are limited by the United States Coast Guard in the maritime environment.
Expand our authorities.
The United States Secret Service in its protection of our national leaders. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection with respect to the border. We have various authorities that are discrete to the particular missions. We can't just shoot a drone out of the sky.
But do you know for sure these are drones or unmanned aircraft? What are they?
Pompous glasses.
We believe that there are cases of mistaken identity where drones are actually small aircraft and people are misidentifying them. There very well may be drones in the sky, of course, but those are commercially available. One can go into a convenience store and buy a small drone.
We can pause it right there, Natalia.
Also convenience store.
Amy, does it look like he gets his eyebrows threaded? Does that? I'm serious. Did you know about that? Guys get that. Brandon gets that done.
I don't know what eyebrow threading is.
It's like when you get like tattoos for your eyebrows.
No. That's just the Eugene Levy type eyebrows. That's
so you're thinking he's bushy eyebrows, but no hair on top of that.
No. It's a weird thing. Like I got more gray hair in my beard than I do on my head. bullshit to everything he just said. No, but first of all, notice how they all have that same nasally voice, the way they talk. Kirby, him, the other one there, Garland. They don't have the authority to shoot down a drone. What a load of... What do you have to do, wait until it's carrying a grenade and blowing up into a building before you can take it down? It's like the thing, we didn't have the authority to take down Crooks until he fired on the president first, which was a lie. But that's a lie. You can't take down a drone if it's posing a threat. Oh, because taking it down might be dangerous, but leaving it up there indefinitely is not?
Fly drones over the White House. Just we'll go to D.C., fly recreational drones over the White House.
Don't do it, people. Don't listen to Connor. He's crazy.
See what happens. Look, you suddenly found the authority. Congratulations.
There's technology to disable them, to make them land in the same spot. There's literally primitive technology to get hawks carrying a leather strap to tangle up the props. It's a load of crap. But yeah, they sure look for any excuse to increase their power. Maybe they should be flying those over the border, Mayorkas. See what's going on there.
Yeah, well, wait. I'm telling you right now, just mark my words. Right, the freaking save this moment on the podcast, and I'm telling you right now, something's coming soon to a city near you.
Vinny, psychologically, this is called catastrophizing in your mind. You should know it, and you should be aware when you're catastrophizing. Yeah. And then take a deep breath and repeat the serenity prayer.
I just know because I've seen this playbook and I've seen what they're doing and I know what they're doing. The fact that they're playing stupid, bro. They're playing dumb as if we're dumb. Okay? Because they have to do something. And the Project Bluebeam thing, if you really think about it, bro. Okay, COVID was a test to me. How long can we lock these efforts down? 2-3 years. People are still wearing masks. Think about the PSYOP. People are wearing masks in their cars still. So how do you, bro? And listen to me. I've been talking about this before I even moved to Florida, bro. I talked about this at the beginning of my time in Los Angeles 15 years ago. How do you get everybody to come together with everything that with the
unified threat?
Exactly. We're all divided, right? How do you make black, white, tall, short, gay, straight, little, Muslim, Christian, all the Sikh, Hindu? How do you get everybody together? You have to have a threat that's from outside this world, because then they can say what Amy said. Hey guys, listen, if that guy that communications that John Kirby goes, guys. The hell with even showing anything. Guys, we are in communication with a mothership, and it said it's going to attack this Friday unless everybody get in your homes, lock everything. That's it, bro. You look at what people panicked for a flu that came from China. It was a bad flu. Imagine if alien comes, a fake alien, they're here, and bro, they have the technology. Trust me, I worked for the government. They have the technology. They've had the technology. It's only a matter of time till they pull the trigger because they've lost control. Trump is we've lost control, bro. Did you guys think, honestly, the people out there, he was going to win and come in and, dude, Doge, he's going to you know how many people are going to lose money? How many people are going to lose industries? RFK is going to be taking freaking color out of food. And, bro, Pfizer, vaccines, people are fucked. And I'm telling you right now, bro, if you know you're going to lose $1 billion, maybe $1 trillion, guess what? Fly some drones, map out Bedminster, figure it out. We got to get this guy out, or you know what? We're going to have a stage an event.
What really drives me crazy about what Mayorkas said there, it's like, do you really think we have the tech? We don't have the authority to take them out of the air. Well, so if they're flying over Mar-a-Lago and they're doing something bad, we don't have the authority.
Oh, they don't care.
Bullshit. But what he's setting it up so that if, and God forbid, it happens, he could say, well, we didn't have the requisite authority.
Of course.
If a drone flies over Mar-a-Lago, you bet your ass if it's not going to be Secret Service taking it down, someone else is taking it down.
Oh, for sure. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.